Here's one of our favorite people in American politics, a friend of mine, held a lot of important jobs, none more important than the one he's got right now, Sam Brownback, governor of Kansas. Good morning, Governor.
Good morning, Bill. Gosh, good to be back with you again.
Good to be talking to you. So we were just talking off air. Good week, good basketball, huh?
Well, that's two of the major pieces of the Kansas economy. You know, when you got a good wheat crop, KU comes in second, we almost win the whole thing. You know, that makes people smile around the place.
I'll bet it does. I was just telling you, I got this Forbes thing. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's a hilarious headline. Reminds me of, you know, Scott Walker and Illinois and Mitch Daniels there in Illinois, looking at Illinois across the border. Governor Brownback's reformed Kansas could have Missouri singing the blues. What is it you guys are doing that are making your neighbors nervous?
And lowering taxes. It's pretty, there's a strange thing. People act economically rational. I don't know. I don't understand it. But you create an opportunity, and you create it in the neighborhood. I think that's really the key issue, that you create it in the neighborhood, and people respond to it. And they say, you know what, if my taxes are lower over here and my essential services are still taken care of in a reasonably good fashion, why wouldn't I move over to the state of Kansas? And that's what that article is reflecting.
And tell us what exactly you've done, because this is so interesting. We've had a number of governors on, and looks like the track is pretty clear. Tell us what you've done. Have you borrowed from anyone, by the way? Did anyone impress you that you learned from other governors, other states?
Yes. You know, it's my presidential run that really impressed me. It was, going to places like New Hampshire and seeing how many people from Massachusetts had moved to New Hampshire.
Right.
You go up there and you say, wow, New Hampshire, you got some things really happening. I said, yeah, we got a ton of people moved from Massachusetts. Well, why? Well, why do you think they moved here? We don't have any income tax, don't have any sales tax.
Right.
And so what we've done is taken the income tax completely off sole proprietorships, subchapter S's, and LLC organizations. Small businesses basically organized that way. Said no tax on small business in the state of Kansas because we want to create the best environment for small business in America. And that's where three-fourths of people work, is for small business. And we think people are going to respond pretty rapidly, actually.
Yeah, no, I imagine they do. Are you seeing an influx of people into the state, businesses into the state?
We are. Last decade, we lost, in the total decade, we lost 1,000 private sector jobs. Last year and a half, we've had about a 30,000 increase in private sector jobs and a 2,000 decrease in public sector jobs, which I think those are the trend lines you got to have. You've got to have a major increase in private sector jobs, and we've got to start working down the cost of government. Our per unit cost of government is way too high. And then, Bill, we never have paid attention to details, like what do we pay for rent? What do we pay for utilities? The things that a business would do every day, we've got to do it. We did a voluntary buyout program of public employees. These things are working.
Good. We're talking to Sam Brownback, Governor Brownback of Texas. You started to tell me on break, I don't want to get into a sensitive area, but it seems to me you have an opportunity there to kind of have a crucial experiment, as they call it in chemistry, and that is you've got two Kansas cities, right? You've got a Kansas City, Kansas, and a Kansas City, Missouri. Did I say Texas? I meant Kansas. Sorry. But there are some similarities. There are some similarities, correct?
Well, there are. And when I ran for office, for governor, I told people, look, I want us to look a lot more like Texas and a lot less like California. Okay. And it was interesting. People understood exactly what you meant when you're talking about pro-growth economics. But we've got a real interesting area in the Kansas City area. I think it's the largest urban area that's close to equally shared by two states anywhere in the country.
Yes.
And you create this, we want to be a low-tax state, and to create the environment for businesses to grow and thrive. I think you'll see a lot of people respond.
If I were living in one of the Kansas cities or the other, how would I notice this palpably?
Just open up the newspaper, because it's interesting, though. The newspaper a lot of times just plays this very negatively, like, okay, you're going to kill schools and Medicaid and that, and I was going, no. Well, I came in facing a big budget deficit, and what we did was protect essential services, but we really cut back on a lot of other things and eliminated a lot of things. So you just focus more on what government should do and cut out of things that it shouldn't do. And that gave us, we'll end up this fiscal year with $600 million cash on hand when we were facing $500 million deficit when I came into office.
That's great. We're talking to Sam Brownback, the governor of Kansas. He's with us another 4 or 5 minutes. If you want to get in a quick call, give us a call, especially if you're from Kansas, 866-680-6464. You talked about schools. If my memory serves me right, it was the Kansas City, Missouri schools under federal court order that had to build and build and build, and I think it went up to something like $50,000 per child per year in those Kansas City schools, yet scores didn't improve. Do I remember this correctly?
Yeah, you remember exactly right. The state of Missouri taxed the whole state. Well, actually, the federal court did. Moved all that money into Kansas City, Missouri schools, built enormous schools, and then nothing happened on the test scores. Now that school district is really in a lot of difficulties.
But the expenses, I'm sure, are still there. How are you dealing with the education issues? What are you prioritizing there, Sam?
Two things: fourth grade reading scores, and then high school graduates, career or college ready.
Good.
Get an ACT scores that you can get into college, or we're really pushing, Bill, that people get technical certificates to be able to be a CNA or a welder when you come out of high school. And I think we're going to get a lot of uptake there because we got a lot of students that spend that last year in high school maybe not particularly motivated or doing much, and we ought to take a lot more advantage of that time period for our students.
We do, and we really neglect it, and we've really done a bad job. People like me maybe are partly to blame. I'm such a celebrant of the liberal arts. You know, that's my background. I did my Ph.D. But, you know, we can't send a message that we have, you know, lower regard for people who know how to do things. In a country where, last I saw Governor Brownback, 3 or 4 million skilled jobs are going unfilled because the people don't have the skills. We got to pay attention to giving people an opportunity to get those skills, not just to become a sociology major.
And I was at a diesel mechanic program in western Kansas, 50 students there. There are companies coming in that would hire all 50 on the spot at $50,000 each a year. Just, I mean, we need.
That's great. I mean,
we need skilled people, and so we're really pushing that. And I'd love to see, Bill, a lot more people get a technical skill and work their way through Harvard.
That's
right. You know, as somebody that's repairing air conditioning or plumbing.
Yeah.
You know, imagine the type of person you'd have who gets a Harvard degree but's worked his way through school fixing people's leaky faucets. Well, you'd have a nice, humble, bright guy or lady.
Yeah. I got through my little Ivy League college by waiting on tables and running a Xerox service, you know. It was a mimeograph service. That's how old I am, a mimeograph machine. Yeah. Yeah, I had the right humility and debt to prove it. I want to go to a quick call. George in Philadelphia. You're on with Governor Brownback. Make it quick, George.
Good morning, Governor. Good morning, Dr. Bill. My question is, how do you overcome the idea in government that government must maintain the same size and that it can and should, in fact, be downsized to be able to reduce costs and get things under control?
Thanks, George.
I think you have to talk about it, but people's common sense kicks in, too, and they say, well, absolutely. If every place else has had to get more efficient, why can't government? David Brooks had a great article on this about the manufacturing sector in the United States had to get globally competitive, but the sectors protected by the government have not, and we've got to migrate that sort of competitive aggressive efficiency ideas into government, and it's doable, and you can save a lot of money and still provide well your essential services.
Great. Well, Governor, we are delighted to talk to you, and call us anytime you want to update us on things. Delighted. You obviously you're enjoying your job.
I am. Yeah, it's a great place. You need to move here, Bill. The taxes are really good.
Listen, I'm moving out of the state I live in Maryland, you know. They can't figure out why people are leaving. Duh, as we say, right?
Yeah.
Hey, tell me something quietly. There's only 3.75 million people listening. Now, tell me quietly. Tell me the truth. Is governor a better job than senator?
I'm sure enjoying it a lot more now than I did the Senate, but I love the Senate. Those are different jobs.
I know, but I'll tell you, there's something about that realness of picking up the garbage and educating the kids, though, isn't it?
There really is. This is a very practical job, but the Senate's a great place. Just needs more Republicans.
That's right. Thank you, Sam.
Thanks, Bill.
Godspeed. Great to hear from you. Appreciate it. Governor Sam Brownback.